1729 by Jonathan Swift. Deluded mortals, whom the great choose for companions tete-a-tete, who at their dinners, en famille get leave to sit, whene'er you will then boasting tell us where you dined, and how his lordship was so kind, how many pleasant things he spoke, and how you laughed at every joke, swear he's a most facetious man, that you and he are cup, and can you travel with a heavy load, and quite mistake preferment's road. Suppose my lord, and you alone, hint the least interest of your own, his visage drops, he knits his brow, he cannot talk of business now or mention, but a vacant post hell turn it off with name your toast. Nor could the nicest artist paint a countenance with more constraint. For as their appetites to quench lords, keep a pimp to bring a wench, so men of wit are but a kind of panders to a vicious mind, who proper objects must provide to gratify their lust of pride, when wearied with intrigues of state, they find an idle hour to pray. Then shall you dare to ask a place, you forfeit all your patron's grace, and disappoint the sole design for which he summoned you to dine. Thus Congreve spent in writing plays, and one poor office half his days, while Montague one who claimed the station to be Maecenas of the nation for poets' open table, kept, but near considered where they slept himself as rich, as 50 Jews was easy, though they wanted shoes, and crazy Congreve scarce could spare a shilling to discharge his chair, till prudence taught him to appeal from Pan's fire to party zeal, not owing to his happy vein, the fortunes of his later scene took proper principles to thrive. And so might every dunce alive too thus steal, who owned what others writ, and flourished by imputed wit, from perils of 100 jails withdrew, to starve and die in Wales. Thus gay the hare with many friends twice 7 long years, the court attends, who under tales conveying truth to virtue, formed a princely youth, who paid his courtship with the crowd as far as modest pride allowed, rejects a servile usher's place, and leaves St. James in disgrace. For thus Addison, by Lords Carist, was left in foreign lands distressed, forgot at home became for hire a travelling tutor to a squire, but wisely left the muses' hill to business, shaped the poet's quill, let all his barren laurels fade, took up himself the courtier's trade, and grown a minister of state saw poets at his levee wait 5 hail happy pope, whose generous mind detesting all the statesman kind, contemning courts at courts, unseen, refused the visits of a soul with every virtue fraught by sages, priests, or poets, taught whose filial piety excels, whatever Grecian story tells, 6 a genius for all stations fit, whose meanest talent is his wit, his heart too great though fortune little to lick a rascal statesman's spittle, appealing to the nation's taste above the reach of want, is placed by Homer dead, was taught to thrive which Homer never could alive, and sits aloft on Pindus' head, despising slaves that cringe for bread. True politicians only pay for solid work, but not for play, nor ever choose to work with tools forged up in colleges and schools. Consider how much more is due to all their journeymen than you at table. You can Horace quote they at a pinch, can bribe a vote, you show your skill in Grecian story, but they can manage Whig and Tory. You as a critic are so curious to find a verse in Virgil spurious, but they can smoke the deep designs when Bolingbroke with Pulteney dines. Besides, your patron may upbraid ye that you have got a place already in office for your talents fit to flatter carve, and show your wit to snuff the lights and stir the fire, and get a dinner for your hire. What claim have you to place or pension? He overpays in condescension. But Reverend Dr. you we know could never condescend so low. The viceroy whom you now attend would, if he durst, be more your friend, nor will in you those gifts despise, by which himself was taught to rise, when he has virtue to retire hell grieve. He did not raise you higher, and place you in a better station, although it might have pleased the nation. This may be true, submitting still to Walpole's more than royal will, and what condition can be worse? He comes to drain a beggar's purse, he comes to tie our chains on faster, and show us England is our master, caressing knaves and dunces wooing to make them work their own undoing. What has he else to bait his traps, or bring his vermin in but scraps? The offals of a church distressed a hungry vicarage at best, or some remote inferior post, with 40 pounds ire at most. But here again, you interpose, your favourite lord is none of those who owe their virtues to their stations, and characters to dedications, for keep him in, or turn him out, his learning none will call in doubt. His learning, though a poet said it before a play, would lose no credit, nor pope would dare deny him wit, although to praise it Philip's writ. I own he hates an action base, his virtues battling with his place, nor wants a nice discerning spirit, betwixt a true and spurious merit, can sometimes drop a voter's claim, and give up party to his fame. I do the most that friendship can. I hate the viceroy, love the man. But you who till your fortunes made must be a sweetener by your trade, should swear he never meant us ill. We suffer sore against his will, that if we could but see his heart, he would have chose a milder part. We rather should lament his case, who must obey, or lose his place. Since this reflection slipped your pen, insert it when you write again, and to illustrate it, produce this simile for his excuse. So to destroy a guilty land, and 7 angels sent by heaven's command, while he obeys, Almighty will perhaps may feel compassion still, and wish the task had been assigned to spirits of less gentle kind. But I in politics grown old, whose thoughts are of a different mold, who from my soul sincerely hate both kings and ministers of state, who look on courts with stricter eyes, to see the seeds of vice arise, can lend you an illusion fitter, though flattering knaves may call it bitter, which if you durst but give it place, would show you many a statesman's face fresh from the tripod of Apollo. I had it in the words that follow. Take notice to avoid offense, I hear, except his excellence, so to effect his monarch's ends from hell, a viceroy devil ascends his budget with corruption's cramdy, the contributions of the damned, which with unsparing hand he strews through courts and senates as he goes, and then at Beelzebub's black hall complains his budget was too small. Your simile may better shine in verse, but there is truth in mine. For no imaginable things can differ more than gods and kings and statesmen. By 10,000 odds are angels just as kings are gods. Footnote 1 Earl of Halifax c. Johnson's Life of Montague, W.E.B. Footnote 2 The whole of this paragraph is unjust both to Halifax and Congreve, for immediately after the production of Congreve's first play, The Old Bachelor, Halifax gave him a place in the pipe office, and another in the customs of 600 a year. Ultimately, he had at least 4 sinecure appointments, which together afforded him some 1,200 a year. See Johnson's Lives of the Poets, edit Cunningham, W.E.B. Footnote 3 William Duke of Cumberland's son to George Roman II the Butcher. Footnote 4 C. Ante p. 215 Note, W.E.B. Footnote 5 C. Johnson's Life of Addison, W.E.B. Footnote 6 C. Prologue to the Satires 390 to the end, W.E.B. Footnote 7 So when an angel by divine command, etc. Addison's Campaign.